Hello, welcome to Anxiety Files episode 8. I think I'm going to call this one maybe real versus true. There are a couple of things that I have been thinking about to tell you, tricks sort of that I have that help me to interrupt the anxiety when it's spiraling out of control. And one of the quotes that I found recently that I really like is by a Buddhist monk whose name, see if I can pronounce this right, it's Tsoknyi Rinpoche. And Tsoknyi Rinpoche teaches that when we are emotionally hijacked by worry, regret, fear, anger, anxiety, the emotional and physical state that we find ourselves in is real but not true. I like that. I had to think about that for a while, but it's true. It's really true. We are being told by our bodies and our brain and all these chemicals that whatever terrifying thing we think is happening is real. And the feeling is real, but the message isn't true. It's not true. It's like the video I had before about anxiety being a liar. So here's a couple things that help me to get more grounded and figure out what is actually true. One of them is a reality checklist. Get out a pen and paper, your iPad, whatever you do to make lists on, and start taking stock of what is actually real around you. Even things like the color of the walls, what you're actually experiencing in this very moment. I'm sitting in a chair, a comfortable chair. I'm listening to the busker out my window and the fan that I probably should have turned off before I started recording. Talking to you guys. My body is saying something's really, really wrong. I'm feeling that anxiety. But when I start thinking, okay, so this is what I'm doing, this is what's happening, it really does help to start calming down. The other thing that I do that sounds really silly, and I love silliness, that's one of the best things, tools in the arsenal against anxiety is ridiculousness. So makes me laugh, but make a worry appointment. Make an appointment. Say Tuesday at 2:30, I'm gonna worry for 45 minutes. So 45 minutes, I am gonna have an agenda, and on that agenda I put down all the things that I'm worrying about. So every time I think of something that I start getting anxious about, I write it down on that agenda. That's for my worry appointment on Tuesday. And it's a really good exercise in wrenching your mind out of that worry cycle, because I feel like I have to keep on top of things, and I'm being irresponsible if I'm not constantly figuring stuff out and thinking about it. And this way it helps me feel like I'm still being responsible because I am going to think about it. The trick here is you have to keep that worry appointment. You have to actually sit down at 2:30 on Tuesday or whatever you choose and go through that list and worry about the stuff. But what I found is that what I tend to do in those circumstances is, instead of getting in a panic attack, which is what I always think is going to happen, I usually end up coming up with an action plan. And that actually helps me feel better. And if I'm not done with my agenda items by the end of that 45 minutes, you put it on the agenda for the next appointment and you make another one. Always make the next worry appointment. And then, between the two appointments, you write it down and let it go. Write it down and let it go. Because you're going to be on top of it. You will be dealing with it during those manageable 45 minutes or however long you set for yourself. So those are two of my tools. They work pretty well, especially when I'm feeling hyper responsible or like I'm not being responsible and not feeling like I'm on top of things. That really helps. And again, taking stock of the moment. I'm finding the more I'm talking about this, that anxiety has an awful lot to do with not being present in the moment and living in the future. So the future is not unwritten, and again, we choose hope. So I hope this is helpful for you, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you.